And we had an interesting happening this week in that our daughter has a job now. She's in high school and had to go through some orientation and had to give her bank account number so that her check could be direct deposited. And I see it as a freedom gone, forced into that. There was the only other choice that she had was to accept a debit card, and every time that she would swipe that debit card, it would cost her credit card, $3. If she wanted a job, McDonald's does it. Every corporation is doing it, and if you want a job, you have to do this. And so I see this as another usurpation, and when we go to the bank to get the routing number, it's just great and wonderful, and everybody goes along with it. And so I've spent my week really upset with another freedom gone, forced into something that we absolutely oppose.
Barbara, did you resolve this, or are you just stuck with it?
We're stuck with it simply because kids can't work. You know, when they apply for a job, they still have school, so they have to find a job that is willing to work with their schedule. So coincidentally, this place of business was willing to work with our daughter's schedule, and but we're forced into that. You know, idea is, but it's so convenient and it's so wonderful. He stands up there, and the owner stands up there and tells all of these employees how great and wonderful this is, and how easy. And so everybody feels like they have to go along because they need that job, and then you go to the bank, but it's so easy, you know, and I am just thinking this is insane that out of convenience, everybody is giving away their bank account numbers, allowing another freedom to be taken away from us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you nailed it, Barbara.
This is that force, and so we did. We fought the driver's license, having to give her social security number for her driver's license. She wasn't ready for another battle, and she wasn't ready to give up a job, an opportunity for a job that she had been looking for probably 6 months.
Sure, you can get when you get worn down and
yeah, boy, I know that one too, Barbara. I'd like to address that. You know what we're doing here, and I did have a reason for going down the trail I went a minute ago, and I apologize for not directly answering your question. But what we're doing is moving into an electronic currency state. Paper is becoming inconvenient, but from a government perspective, it's becoming more difficult to keep track of their mess. So it's going to be a lot more easy to go to electronic currency. So should they crash this economy, like I believe is the agenda, then I think we're going to find an electronic currency rising up. So we're being conditioned right now. We're told all of the benefits of the electronic currency, all the conveniences, but we're not told of the invasion of privacy that is actually occurring. You know, every transaction that we make now, there's going to be an electronic record of it, so they can better surveil the people. I mean, this is really Orwellian what they're doing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're wearing us down. Eventually, we're going to have to decide whether we're going to acknowledge and go along with this electronic currency, or we're going to have to turn our backs on this economy and start our own underground economy. We're going to have to start working separate from the economy. Now, that kind of a comment is going to, draw attention to me. But the fact is we're going to have to choose whether we're going to capitulate to this global socialist network agenda, which is being established by the international banks, or whether we're going to champion the principles of America, which made America great and which could make America great again if we'd adopt them. But it's going to require some pushback on our part. This is, I understand that you've been pushing back for a long time. This is really where the war is right now. It's a philosophical war, and it's a war of attrition. And until more of us begin to push back by not cooperating with their agenda, we're going to find ourselves capitulating and regretting just how much of our freedom we gave away in the name of, well, let's just go along with it because this is too much of a battle to fight. More people need to get involved. More people need to start resisting this kind of coercion. I don't think there's any basis in this, except if you have a Social Security number and you're part of the system. I guess somewhere they feel that we're property of the U.S. government, and they can manipulate the system such that if we want to survive in this country, we've got to take their mark.
Barbara, thanks for calling.
Thank you, Jim.
You have a great day.
Is there another caller coming
Yeah.
in? Boy, let's talk.
Welcome to Trading Post. You're live on the air.
Yeah, good morning, Jim. Just one quick comment. You know, in the Bible, in the mark of the beast, you need to buy and sell. But just think about this. With electronic currency, they totally control whether you can buy or sell. And you have your own currency, your own cash, and people are accepting whatever means of cash you're using, whether it be silver, gold, or stones, or whatever. There's no control by the government of that. But when they have electronic currency, you will neither buy nor sell without their permission, because all they have to do is lock up that electronic account. Thank you.
I think it was in the 80s, might have been 70s. I can't remember when it was, but it was called Max Headroom. And it was projecting out into the future, this electronic currency. And he carried this little thing that looked like a pen. And he was a reporter. And I guess he was getting too close to the truth in one episode, and his credit got cut off. And he was cut off from being able to buy or sell anything because his electronic device was shut down at the central bank. This is exactly what we're moving to, and if we don't recognize what they're doing, that is going to bring us into this totalitarian type state where we won't be able to buy or sell unless we buy into their currency, their electronic media, then we're gonna regret this. This is the time, I believe, that was prophesied, and I think it was easy to prophesy from a God point of view that this is the nature of man, because its control ultimately results in this type of a electronic system, which ultimately will result in controlling out every aspect of our lives. My solution to this: start buying silver and anticipate that silver may be the currency, the medium of exchange that those of us that aren't going to buy into their electronic system and won't be able to buy and sell within their system will be able to buy and sell amongst ourselves as a people, and let that system go ahead and go where it's going to go, because eventually I believe that thing's going to collapse on itself. And to whatever degree that we're dependent on that system, when it collapses, we ourselves will collapse. So if we begin to operate more as a community and begin to help each other through charitable means and helping each other facilitate trades in our own private commerce, which is what we should be doing anyway, not becoming dependent on their international commerce, then I think we're going to find a solution. But the solution, again, is in community.
How old are you?
53.
Are you going to collect Social Security?
No. As a matter of fact, when I was in 1980s, I reached a conclusion that I was not going to ever receive Social Security. So I withdrew and anticipated that this is one of the reasons I wanted to become a businessman. I figure I'm not going to rely on the government for Social Security, so I stopped using my Social Security number. As a matter of fact, I rescinded my Social Security number. I wrote letters to the IRS and the Department of Social Security, and I filed a notice in the clerk and recorder's office there in El Paso County, Teller County, and in Gunnison, where I live now, that I was no longer accepting their benefits, and I was rejecting the use of the number, and so that I was no longer going to participate in that system. And so now, knowing that I was no longer going to benefit from that system, and knowing that I was no longer going to pay in that system, knowing that I would no longer be able to benefit, it changed my entire mindset. I no longer had this thing to fall back on. So I had to start a whole new mindset of, no, wait a minute. I'm the one that's responsible for me, and I'm the one that's responsible for my family. And now I have to teach my boys this. My son, my 19-year-old who is going to college, does not have a Social Security number. And he got into college, and every time he comes up, which he brushes up against that wall a lot, he stands, and we end up managing to get through that barrier. Turns out, and we've got a letter from Social Security system saying this, that a number is not required in this country. And yet somewhere we've acquired the mindset that it is. And I assure you, I can testify firsthand that we've got my son finishing off his first year in college, and he doesn't have a Social Security number. And everyone that comes up against him is being educated.